I get many messages from youngsters who cannot afford my services. Okay. And they tend to ask me questions about, the young stuff like, oh, I'm in love with this girl, or should I marry, or should I take up this career, or so I want to migrate abroad. And these are youngsters who are like, who don't earn any money. So obviously, and they are not from like rich families. So obviously, they can't afford my services. But I try to do the best of what I can. Okay. Many times I guide them to join my groups and ask the questions in my group. And then sometimes, if I feel, okay, this is something I can just answer in a few lines, I tend to do that. But once in a while, I get a question that needs a video. Okay. And this is one of those topics that definitely needs a video. Um, the question, I'm paraphrasing. Okay. He didn't ask me exactly word for word in this way, but the question primarily focused by this youngster was, should he go ahead for college education? And I think if I were to give the video a title, it would be, is college education or academic education any use in 2025? Is it worth it? Simply asking. And why do people ask this question? Okay. It's very simple. People want to have a good career. They want to earn money. They want to be successful. But then there is this confusion. Okay, if I study hard, get good grades, memorize everything, and I regurgitate I'm being a little sarcastic here, or write down my test papers, and I get a very good rank. I get very high marks. Will that guarantee me a job? Let's say I work very hard and study after school 10 years, extra classes, and I get into IIT, IIMs, or the Ivy League. Will my future be made? Now, in as much as I wish I could look into a crystal ball, or if I had data that out of 100 students, exactly these many got so and so, and the next 30 years, this is what happened. I don't have, I can only give you a kind of common sense, experience based approach. Okay. See, it's very easy to dump on education. It's very easy for me as a YouTuber, as a online consultant, as a guy who dropped out of high school, or just touched the tip of college, thinking I would do college, but I just went to have fun with girls and just enjoy life. I you I hardly studied. Okay, I was always the type of student who every teacher predicted gloom and doom, and I don't blame them, simply because I was just up to mischief. I came to school not to study. I came to school to have fun, to get out of the house because I was bored. And I was always looking forward for the games period, the section of the day where you can just go play football or cricket or whatever. And thankfully, I liked reading books, which made me read library books. What, Eden Brighton? No, I hope I got that name right. I used to read story books. I used to read. There were no comic books, so I used to read historical, the thing with pictures. I like pictures, but if there were no pictures, I would read about history, not just Indian history. English history or Galileo, whatever. Okay. And I would love to take part in co-curricular activities, which helped me during when I went to college, or I attempted to go to college. Didn't go for a single class, only went for public speaking, debates. I liked all the creative stuff. And yes, the girls and everything else. So if you ask me until today, has college education helped me? No. I don't have any paper to show you that I'm college educated. I don't have, except for school, the marks, English, Hindi, They used to teach us in the Arabic, social studies, geography, maths. I don't even remember what I studied maths. And then they have all this crazy stuff, algebra and all that. Oh, it just go through my head. And science, chemistry, H2O is water. Yeah. Physics is zigzag motion. Zigzag motion of molecules. Molecules. This Madrasi sir, I think, is. And what? Biology. Yeah. Biology, the only interesting thing was, okay, these are the genitals of a female and this is genitals of a guy. And I was wondering, like, how do you have sex? Like, what? And I was like, look at this. Okay, so seriously speaking, it was all about memorization and writing down in the exam. They'll give the question. You have to memorize the answer and write it down. Now, I'll give you both for and against the argument. So I would leave it up to you maybe to decide what's good for you, because I can't give a standard answer for everyone. Now, like I was saying, me being an online consultant, YouTuber and all that, nobody has asked me for my college education because I'm a self-employed. Even when I used to go for business deals or I used to take on projects, I used to offer my services as a personal branding, business branding, how to improve on sales. Nobody asked me for my college education or high school education. The only time that they did ask me was in my early formative years of, like, when I was 20 and I was applying for a job, hardly any experience. I worked in the shop, or I worked with my friend, or I worked at promoting this in the supermarket, and we put 1 month, 2 month intern and all that bullshit you put. So there they would ask me, like, education, you have to write something there. And I was to bluff and bullshit my I'll tell you, for 2 years I literally suffered, because in Dubai, those days, you're talking of nearly 30 years ago, if you didn't have college education, you're finished. There was no YouTube, there was no online career, there was no online coaching, there was nothing. There was no internet, basically. So gloom and doom was written all over me and my fate. And in fact, my parents thought I would be lucky to get a job as a sweeper, a cleaner. But I was trying odd jobs. I tried as a waiter. I tried as an assistant cook. They didn't give me a cook. Cleaner in the kitchen. I tried as a bellboy, standing outside, opening the door, closing the door, picking up the luggage in hotels. I tried for events, DJing. DJing was kind of cool, like, mix the songs. Although I was not a professional DJ, I was more on the amateur side, but I loved public speaking. So I would do announcements for weddings, and maybe because I was young and cheap, people would take me, but I believe I was good, average at least. So that's how I earned money. And then there were these promotional exhibitions, or keyboards or mouse or this thing you sell in exhibitions, all, and you get some commission, So I used to do all these odd kind of jobs wherever I could earn money. And there they never asked me for my certificate. It was only when in Dubai, remember, 30 years ago, when they wanted to stamp my visa, did they ask for a degree. And because I didn't have a degree, they never gave me a managerial post on the visa. Remember, in Dubai, those days, 30 years ago, if you had a managerial post on the visa, you'd have certain benefits like traveling, visa on arrival in Arab countries, or, even if you get a ban, they can lift the ban. You get certain legal perks because they look upon you as an educated person. So because I didn't have that, I was always given like a kind of lower level labor class construction or supervisor, but nothing like a managerial position respect. So that was one of the biggest hurdles. And you might think that this was, 30 years ago, is not applicable today. Today, that is still valid if you migrate to, let's say, any of the countries, Canada, Australia, USA, any of the Western countries. They don't want uneducated people. Uneducated means you just have school education, and your point system go less. That means it's harder to be eligible, especially Canada. Now you can say, I'm very smart, I'm a freelancer, I have X amount of work experience, but remember, having that degree is like a plus point. Now, if I'll tell you, if you have money, I'm giving you the simplest answer. If you have money, your father is rich, mother's rich, you have money, or you have a good bank account, don't be bothered about a degree. Okay? Money does the talking. But if you don't have money, okay, your father is not rich, mother's not rich, or even if they're rich, they don't give you any money, then you got a problem. Then it comes down to, do you know how to sell yourself? Do you know how to market yourself? Do you have experience? Do you have expertise? Because if you're really good at what you do, that can at least compensate and give you the capacity to earn money. But then again, remember, what skill are you talking about? If you're talking of Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, website design, sorry, boss, that all is just, yes, it's good, it's skill. One of the biggest overused designations or career path those days, say 20 years ago, was SEO expert. SEO, search engine optimization. What? Then social media expert and all that. Internet, everything related to the internet he was an expert and all that. And they assumed that, because school education does not teach you that. So I'm an expert in that. And then we had the rise of all these gurus with their courses. They will teach you how to be rich, time management, focus, positivity. Then there's one idiot. His name is, I don't know. He teaches Oponoponoponoponopo course. Seriously. And what is Oponoponoponopo? It opens your wealth and your third chakra and you can become a Oponoponopono coach or something. And then we had this bullshit about coaches, life coach, career coach, with no qualification, life coach and spiritual coach and self-improvement coach. Tony Robbins certifications, and you had many copycats of Tony Robbins, productivity coach. And so people took advantage of this loophole in the system. That's what Andrew Tate does, right? Or people like Andrew Tate. School is not going to help you. College is not going to help you. They can't guarantee you a job. You need real skills like entrepreneur skills and public speaking skills and networking skills and selling skills and communication skills. Yes, I'm not going to disrespect these skills. These skills are very much required. Okay, listen to what I'm saying. All these skills are required. But my question to you is, how do you measure it? Let's say Andrew Tate is selling a entrepreneur businessman course. How do you know? How do you check the validity of this course? How do you check the effectiveness? Let's assume the course is damn good, but you're an idiot. Seriously, I'm not saying this out of a joke or fun. I talk to people almost every day, every single day. There are people who are smart, and then there are people who are dumb. There are people who have critical thinking, and then there are people who you just wonder, like, is the brain missing? There are people who are so unstable. You're like, oh my goodness, this guy, how is he even surviving? So the point I'm trying to make is, you can have a course that can say, oh, you have to sell like this or do like this, like click funnels or whatever. But then can you repair you? So there's no guarantee. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There's no guarantee that even if you do a course, you'll succeed. And then there are these courses which just don't make sense. Time management. Uh, I have not yet met a single person who told me I did this time management course and man, it has changed my life forever. All these years, I've done so many. I can challenge you that I've done more courses than a normal person. Not one, I'm telling you today, not one has helped my business grow. Not one has helped me improve unless I were to do something practical. Okay. But now let me go to the flip side. Have you noticed film actors or business people or successful guys? Have you noticed that they will make sure that their children study in the best schools in the world? Have you ever asked yourself why, let's say, an Ambani or a multi-millionaire, I don't know, whichever you want to take, why they never tell their children, no need to go to school, just do something, enjoy, do some side business. And I can assure you this much, all those rich families who have given their children an easy business or easy finance, they have all failed. I don't want to take the name. I know a couple of them because I've seen them. Okay, I'll give you one example. B.R. Shetty. B.R. Shetty is multi-billionaire, ex-multi-billionaire or whatever, and he got caught for the fraud or whatever. All his kids, what have they done? What business are they running? Are they running a small business, big business? Is there any guarantee that they would succeed? No. You want to check the biggest disaster? Magic Johnson. Just check his son. Oh my goodness. If you were to Google search Magic Johnson's son, you would never want to have children in your life. What a legend and what a disaster. Now, I don't know if his son is educated. And obviously, Magic Johnson, he's being a basketball player, his education was not necessary for what he was doing. But the point I'm trying to make here is every rich person I have known, at least I've known, they send their children to the world class education, world class, whether Oxford, whether Harvard. Okay, fine. They will pay millions of dollars, not billion, millions of dollars in bribes or whatever. But they still want their children to study. So why is it they're not telling them? In fact, forget all that. I told you, school, college, dropout, whatever. Why am I sending my daughter to school? Why I can't tell her, well, just let baby be at home. We'll do homeschooling. We'll have another 10 children or 5 children play. No, I want her to follow a structured program. Whether it will give any return on investment, I don't care. She has to go to school, have a structured program, have discipline, have real life interaction, and experience what life is. And it will continue into schooling and then college. When college comes down, if I'm alive and if there is enough and more savings to support the stream that she wants to go for, why not? If she asks me something that is way over my budget, I want Harvard and you have to give $20 million, example, I'm just saying, or NASA's program and you have to work for another 10 years and Baba, please, you go pray and go start on GoFundMe. But if it is something where, let's say, she wants to do the education and she's really good at it, not average, good, she has to be good. If you're average, then go to an average college. That would be my mantra to her. You want to go to a world-class college, which has a world-class fees, show me world-class performance. And then obviously there are career paths like engineer, doctor, and this and that, where you must need an education. So now the question comes. So is college education worth in 2025? See, I'll give you a couple of the drawbacks, and I'm just looking at the screen where I typed it out. One is your loan. especially in US, the college education, people end up paying loan for 30 years or 20 years. Obviously, after paying all this, there's no guarantee for jobs. There's just very basic jobs with very basic starting salary. It doesn't teach you communication, the skills I told you, entrepreneurship, networking, stress management, emotional intelligence, nothing of that sort, just theory. Then today you can type out on OpenAI, ChatGPT, or internet, and everything will get. So no point memorization. Yes, the education is from the industrial complex. It is the same thing, maths and science and this and that, and you know. Then most of it is theory, not practical. Nothing that you study, like in chemistry, and you're not a chemist, or let's say I studied algebra and science. I'm not using any of it. And if you actually check the cost of education versus cost of education versus the return on investment, it's massive imbalance. Yes, there are many career paths which don't require education today, like what I'm doing. The big question that I used to always, when I was young, as a rebel, how can a teacher who gets low salary with hardly any expertise, experience in the real world, you get a small salary? What are you going to teach me about success? In fact, if I look at it today, not being rude, what I earn per day is what the teachers used to earn per month. Many entrepreneurs or businessmen, they earn per hour sometimes what some people earn per month. Then nothing about managing office politics, kissing bosses' ass, and how the organization structure works. And most of the education is just paperwork. They just look, oh, you have a master's degree from this reputed place. Okay, fine. They're going to ask you, what did you study, and give you an exam. Unless, of course, you're a doctor moving to a different part of the country. And then some of the degrees just don't make sense. They just bullshit, like arts, social service, even commerce. I can never understand. What does commerce give you apart from learning accountancy? Okay. But now let's move to the other side where education does serve a purpose. Okay. Like, what does it serve? Number one is if you are a youngster, you're a student, and you want to start your career, nobody's going to recognize you don't have that piece of paper. That much I'll guarantee you. As it is, majority of you hardly have a personality, hardly have experience, hardly have the ability to sell yourself, hardly have anything. Then if you don't have a degree, then you're looked as a dumb fuck. And companies, like, if your dream is to get into a multinational company, Amazon, Google, any multinational company, any consulting firm, no degree, bye bye. Okay, and sometimes you need more than that. Degree holders have more respect than non-degree holders. Degree holders succeed in the corporate world longer than non-degree holders. If you have to migrate, that has a lot of weightage, a lot of plus points, especially if it's from a reputed college. College students are viewed as disciplined, obedient, stable. Like, if my daughter had a choice between dating two guys, one is just a rebel and he didn't do anything, studies. Another one is a college educated. I most probably would prefer college educated because it shows stability there, discipline, sitting down. Even though you don't like something, you still do it. Then global mobility, you can travel anywhere in the world with a valid degree and still get a job, at least apply for it. And last, if not the least, certain career paths. Without a college education, you can't. Okay. So now I think the final question comes down to you as a person. You want to work in a corporate world, or do you want to work in as a self-employed or business world? Now, it sounds very romantic when you say business world, entrepreneur, self-employed. It sounds very romantic. I'll make another video, maybe updated one on this. But see, there are two. One is education. One is, corporate world. One is the business world. the entrepreneur, the businessman. Here they say it's 9 to 5. Okay. Let's be honest, it's never 9 to 5. It's always more than that. Okay. And here it is like the attraction. The biggest attraction is you're your own boss. You get up whenever you like, sleep whenever you like, which I've told people. That's what I do. And unlimited earnings. That's what even this pyramid schemes and all they say. Unlimited earnings. But have you ever considered that maybe this business, maybe a business will fail? And if it fails, you have to pay the debtors. Maybe you will never succeed beyond average. Like, for example, I charge 237 US dollars, okay, per hour. I would like to charge something like Gary Vaynerchuk, who charges $15,000 just to sit and talk to him for half an hour. There are some so-called fake, and Gary's advice is, anyway, that's very subjective, but I don't think it's worth $15,000 for 30 minutes. But he has built a brand and people pay. There are people who even charge $50,000 and $100,000, not a joke, $100,000 for an hour. I have literally seen some of my ex-clients, they've shown me these people. I'm like, oh, bloody hell, man. What advice do you give for $100,000, like for 1 hour? And Tony Robbins, if you have to spend a whole day with him, he can charge anything from 1 to 10 million. Just let that sink in, huh? To spend a day or a few days with Tony Robbins, it goes to millions. And now he stopped that. He takes a percentage of your profits or whatever. So it's unlimited, but you're not Tony Robbins. You're not Gary Vaynerchuk. You're not all this. And even for me, I charge $237. Do you think I get every hour, I get, oh, 237, thank you, 237, no. There are days where sometimes maybe I'll not get a single client. Maybe there is a full week, no business. Maybe 1 month, maybe 3 months. Have you ever thought about that? You open a restaurant and your overheads means you need at least 10 people to break even, 10 tables. Imagine if only 1 table per day. There's one restaurant here, very affordable food. They were empty they had total 4 customers in the whole month. 4 customers. Can you imagine that? Sitting in a business where you have to pay water, electricity, salaries, everything, and you're sitting and customers are not coming. Being online sounds very romantic. I'm my own boss, I'm whatever. Do you know that most of the people, this business of starting a YouTube channel is for free. Have a website. I'm a $1 million coach or whatever. How many people jump into it? There is analysis like choice paralysis, like it's unlimited. Do you know how many people do what I do? They even charge. Some people are even ready to give it for free and say, you take it and if you like it, then we talk about it. There are people who still, they use softwares, they use other people's work, they copy paste, and people are happy with it. Tell me, how can you compete with free? Tell me, how can you compete with 50% off and they say, I'll give more or less the same thing. So it all sounds very easy. And if you have seen my previous videos, I've told you, people start up the business here and they think, yes, I've invested $500,000, 1 million, business start. And next thing you know, one big brand, massive, mega, like warehouse is created where one of the international brands that competes with you and all your products are available there. Why should someone go there? You know, I used to go to Tesco before there was a DIY store where you get very affordable stuff. I don't know, Chinese or Singaporean or Malaysian, whatever, very cheap. And then very soon here, small shops started opening. First there were 2. Then instead of DIY, I went here. Very soon, there were 12 of them here. I was like, oh, wow. Then one big DIY opened here and all these 12, whatever they're selling, they That one DIY had everything. And now it seems one mega, huge warehouse is opening where they have furniture, they have everything. It's like almost like a hyper market, like a hyper shopping mall. All these people will lose their business now. I've told you even about restaurants. All these guys, they had their restaurants in remote corners. Now they have opened up one area here, right in the middle of a junction, where openly you can eat and drink and music and all. Now nobody goes to these restaurants. Everyone's eating there. I have met people, I personally know people who, after years of putting their hard blood, sweat, and tears into business, are now bankrupt. And they have no choice but to go to the corporate world and work. And the problem is now they don't have a degree, they don't have valid education. See, 9 to 5 sounds like 9 to 5, what the hell. But there are so many people who are working 9 to 5 and getting a stable salary every month, stable savings every month. In my WhatsApp group, I had this guy, he doesn't have an exceptional profile. He has normal profile, works for a MNC. He has saved millions. He told, I live simple. Even my own relatives, I've told you, my cousins and all that, they are all working for the corporate world. And they earn good money. I'm serious. One of them even has 4 houses. 4 houses, decent houses in India. Decent. Okay. Fully paid up loans, everything. 4 houses. Master degree holder. Nothing special. So, the point which I'm trying to make here is that don't disrespect education, academic education. It has its merit, it has its place. So, now the bottom line, moment of truth. Is academic education any good in 2025 or not? And I'll just give you a simple answer. If you're not rich, okay, if you're not rich, if you don't have money, if your father's not rich, mother's not rich, or they are not ready to give you, let's say, a million or whatever dollars to do your own thing, and you can't stay without working, you have to work. Of course, you better study. Seriously, better study. It's like an insurance policy. So if your freelance thing doesn't work, at least you can go get a job. I have a member in my group who tried freelancing until the age of 40. And finally, it all collapsed because of AI and whatever. And today he has got an executive job, junior level job, because he has a master's degree. Got saved. Others, he was without any business for, I think, nearly eight months or so. Okay. So number one, if you don't have it. Number two is whatever skill you have. Let's say you have cryptocurrency, which is not actually a skill, but okay, you have the experience and expertise in cryptocurrency. Stock market, commodities, that is gambling. Okay. Cryptocurrency, you know the technology. Okay, you're an IT guy, you can create softwares, fine. But remember, there is always a company or there's always a software which a professional would prefer to do business with rather than a guy with just a name. Competition is just around the corner. If a guy can come to you, with, because you don't have any company and you don't have any this thing, qualifications, whatever, then he'll obviously check, like you, maybe someone can do it for cheaper. And this is always the case with customers and people who are buyers. Okay. So second is if you have that skill. Number three is, let's assume you really can't study. You just cannot study. You're another, like Machedo, you're a rebel. Then all I'll tell you is be prepared to suffer. I'm not saying this just to scare you. Yes, I'm saying to scare you, but not just to scare you. But to tell you, it's going to be very, 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 very tough. Your parents, your relatives, your friends, nobody will respect you. I'm telling you facts. Huh? Your girlfriend would never want to marry you unless, of course, she doesn't have any other choice. Migration will be absolutely impossible, okay, at an early stage unless you have big money. No company will give you an opportunity unless you really know hardcore how to sell yourself, get an appointment with the owner. And you should have the personality, the guts, and the ability to take action that nobody else takes. The very fact that I tattooed my face shows you how crazy I am. And remember, you're only looking at me right now with a successful YouTube channel. You're looking at me right now, and a lot of luck was involved. I'm being honest with you. Yes, I worked hard. Yes, I have experience, I have expertise, but without luck, especially without education, you need luck, lots of it. And like I said, you're looking at me today when I have all this success. You didn't see me for 30 years after college, how much I suffered. Well, not 30, say 20. You never saw all that. And I'll tell you that it takes a lot of self-belief, hope, patience, and time. So if I were to conclude, I'll tell you this much. If you are young, don't have any experience, don't have any expertise, don't have anything, just get some education, some certificate. Don't take a fake one, take a legit one. And if you can spend money and take a good one, yes. And if you plan to migrate, take it from the country where you plan to migrate. That's number one. Please get a degree, some degree, any degree. Okay. Obviously, don't get an arts and then try for science. Get something related to your line of work, like marketing or business or whatever, then take related to that. That's number one. Number two is, remember, having a degree is better than not having a degree. Insurance policy. And last, if not the least, just getting a degree is not going to solve all your problems. After your degree, work your ass off to get all the skills necessary that will help you survive and sustain in this real world. And it's not some video course online or all that. You can just read and go through it, and books and this and that. Get a proper professional, full-time mentor like you have for MMA, karate, painting, chess, Olympic sports, whatever. Even business, if you get a full-time mentor, you can work under a CEO, which I did. You can have a full-time mentor, like I got lucky. Then your life will change. So it's a combination of everything. So I hope this answered your question. If you guys have any queries, do put them down below. And one final thing I want to say before I conclude. These guys who give advice, hey, education is crap and all that. Today I've succeeded earning millions. Those people who put all these statements now, we don't know if they're millionaires, but let's give the benefit of the doubt. They are millionaires. But just remember, just because he did it doesn't mean you're going to do it. Just because there is a Shah Rukh Khan doesn't mean every actor is a Shah Rukh Khan. Just because there is Roger Federer doesn't mean everyone else became Roger Federer. So there's only one Elon Musk, there's only one Donald Trump, one Oprah, one of each category. So if this guy who's commenting there with an anonymous name, I'm making millions and all that, ask him, you'll mentor me to make millions? Give me all your details, let's start. And I can challenge you, right, and give you. He's only bragging to show how big his balls are. He's not doing it to help you. And most of them are bullshit. All right. Comment down below. Hope this topic helped. And if you have any other topics, any other questions, feel free. I'll make a video on it. You guys take care. Ciao.